Welcome, good people. I hope that you're having a beautiful day. We're about to go through another podcast, and the title of this podcast is Leading Everywhere: The Wellness of Showing Up Fully. So, this podcast, I really like this topic, and it's not a lot of concepts, simple concepts to put to work in your current life. So, welcome to the Leadership Pro podcast, where fairness meets leadership and wellness meets purpose. I'm Dr. Wilhelmina, and today we're exploring what it really means to lead everywhere. And now, that might be some of your goals. It's a good thing because it's a consistent thing. We'll talk more about it. So, I want to start this thought. Leadership doesn't begin with a title, and it doesn't end when you clock out. I've said that before, but we're saying it again. It shows up in how you speak to your children after a long day. It is how you listen when someone's struggling. It's in how you take responsibility even when no one's watching. Now, that's integrity. Real leadership follows you home. It walks beside you in your community, and it lives in how you treat yourself, even in quiet moments when no one else can see your effort. So, when you live this kind of consistent leadership, when who we are doesn't depend on where we are, something powerful happens. Our minds rest. We stop splitting ourselves into roles and start living from a centered whole place. That's where wellness begins, in alignment, not perfection, because we all slip in and out of perfection. No one's perfect. So let's talk about the connection between leadership and wellness. So when our leadership feels fragmented, our version at work is another at home. Our spirit gets tired. We start performing instead of leading. So, if you can imagine this, there was a time when I was younger, much younger, and I can remember I was definitely disjointed when it came to leadership. I actually was at work and I was definitely a leader, even at a low rank. I was a leader. I was definitely putting in what I needed to put in and being a good training as a leader because I was young. But the person I was at work with the awards and the care and helping others and being consistent, all of that wasn't who I was at home. At home, I was actually following, which there's nothing wrong with being a follower because followership is important. But I wasn't even using my leadership skills. I chose to be at a back seat and to be a follower and not even mention what I thought was important, or I just follow along like a little puppy because I chose to do that for my own reasons. But when you are doing that, you're just performing. You're not leading. You're just doing what you have to get by, whatever works for the relationships in the home. But when you show up fully and authentically in every space, we lead from peace, not pressure. You're not doing things because you're pressured. You're doing things because you know this it's what you need to do. And it may have come from someone else, but it was good for you. Or either that or you're because you are a leader, you're unsteady and uncertain and you're just not at center. So at home, the leadership might look like patience and grace. In the community, it might look like service and compassion. And at work, it might look like fairness, courage, and care. So we'll get into a little bit more about that fairness, courage, and care. Each of these spaces gives us a chance to lead with integrity, and each moment of alignment nourishes our wellness. So think about it. When you're leading with integrity and you're having fairness, courage, and care, it's a positive, it's a win-win. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I'm gonna talk a little bit about work. I have a supervisor that is absolutely fair, courageous, and has care for all of us. And it's the best place to work. I love it. I've never had in a position where I felt so comfortable yet still challenged to be a leader and challenged to do what I need to do for my programs. And but sometimes you have one or two coworkers that can grind your gears, and it's fair to them to let them know if there's an issue that's going on, to talk with them about it, to be courageous enough to speak up about it, and also to be caring when you have these conversations. So you're going to be strong in that way, but if it's getting to you that much that it's changing your behavior at work, then it is something that you will want to speak up about, but be fair about it and do it with care. Uh, but even the strongest leaders will need to refill their own cup. So this is part of refilling your cup. Um, and you can't pour from an empty spirit. So treat yourself the same way you treat your best employee or direct report or peer or your dearest friend, with understanding, kindness, and consistency, to be consistently that person. Don't do it one day and then the next day you're back to there grinding my gears and not speaking up about it. So, um, I really again, I really love the environment I'm in now because my supervisor doesn't come in with a hammer and making us do things that don't even make sense or that aren't working for us, they're working for only that supervisor. That supervisor is gaining rank or gaining, notoriety because he or she makes us do whatever. It's not like that. So, he's always understanding, kind, and consistently that way, and it is the best feeling to be in that environment. So, wouldn't your families, the community, and your coworkers and your peers, wouldn't they just love to have that type of support that's understanding, kind, and consistent? You're always that way, most always. You can have your bad day, but yeah, mostly that's where you're at. So, let's reflect and refill. As you move through this week, take a quiet moment to ask yourself, where am I leading with love? And where am I leading on autopilot? And one thing I like to say about the autopilot, if you're already doing this leading with understanding, kindness, and consistency, then your autopilot could be that, but your autopilot could be something negative too. So think about it. Think about how you react and interact with the people around you, whether at home, at work, or in the community. Every space in your life, home, work, and community deserves a version of you that is grounded and whole. Leading everywhere starts with leading yourself, though, remember? You're going to lead yourself gently, intentionally, and with fairness at the center. So be kind to yourself also. Don't be so hard on yourself and be gentle. Maybe you got to take step by step to get to this point. Maybe you can't do it all in one day, which you cannot. It doesn't happen overnight, but you can begin and monitor yourself. So, uh, that was our reflection. And I want to get back to what I always end with, and that is I'm Dr. Wilhelmina, and this is the Leadership Pro podcast. Remember, true leadership starts within, with yourself, right? And when you nurture your wellness, you nurture the world. You will nurture the world if you start with yourself and work your way out. You nurture the world. So monitor yourself. The Leadership Pro, where fairness meets leadership. Please share. As a leader, please share this podcast with others you think could benefit from it and need to hear this information. And then come back. Come back to the next podcast. Watch, follow, subscribe, watch and see. I usually post when I'm doing these. So come on back and enjoy these podcasts. They're all here to help your life. Take care.